David Dunn is just a regular guy. He works as a security guard, keeps a low profile and tries to make his quiet life work. He's not the type who sees himself as special. In fact, he spent most of his life feeling pretty ordinary. But everything changes the day his train crashes and he walks out as the only survivor. 131 people died. David didn't even have a bruise. At the hospital, the doctors are baffled. No injuries, no explanation. And David has no idea why. But someone else does. David gets this strange note that says, "How many days of your life have you been sick?" It leads him to a man named Elijah Price, a comic book expert with a condition so severe his bones break like glass. Elijah spent his whole life in pain, and he believes that if someone as fragile as him exists, then someone completely unbreakable must exist too. He thinks that person is David. David laughs at the idea, but he starts thinking. He asks his wife, "Have you ever seen me sick?" She can't remember, neither can he. So David starts testing himself. In his garage, he lies on a bench. His son starts loading up the weights and David lifts them easily. So they add more and more. They run out of weights and start hanging paint cans from the bar. And David lifts that too. He realizes this isn't just good health, this is something else. But strength isn't all he has. David begins to feel things when he touches people. Not just feelings, flashes, visions of things they have done. At a crowded train station, he brushes past strangers and sees a woman stealing, a man hurting someone. Then he sees something darker, a home invasion, a family in danger. He follows the man. At that night, David puts on his long raincoat, like a hero would, and sneaks into the house. Inside, he finds two kids tied up. Their parents are dead. And the killer is still there. David fights him. They crash into walls. David gets thrown into a pool, nearly drowns. This is when he remembers his trauma and realizes that water is his weakness. But he survives and he saved the kids. The next morning, David sits at the kitchen table. He slides a newspaper to his son. The headlines reads, "Mystery Man saves a family." His son looks at him, eyes wide, like he always knew. And for the first time, David believes it too. He goes back to Elijah to tell him he was right. They shake hands, and in that moment, David sees it. Flashes of Elijah's past. The truth hits him all at once. Elijah caused the disasters, the train crash, the fire, even a plane explosion. All of it just to find someone like David. He wanted to find proof to his theory. "Now that we know who you are," he says, "I know who I am. I am the villain." David steps back, shaken, disappointed, and disturbed by what he saw. Without a word, he turns and walks away. He spent his whole life feeling ordinary. Now he finally knows what he is. And this is where his real story begins. This is not the end of the story, guys. The final chapter brings back David Dunn and the Beast from Split. And that's exactly what we're going to see in the next video.